All right, what is going on, everybody? Thanks so much for watching. Today on my desk is the Mojo Hand FX Rock City Dual Overdrive. This is their newest edition. The idea behind it was to give you kind of a blues breaker circuit along with a tube screamer circuit, but I would say way more tweakable. The tube screamer circuit especially, I would consider more of a tube screamer adjacent circuit. As I mentioned, it's a dual overdrive, so you can switch between the two channels. You can have them both on at the same time. The easy way to switch between them, which is great, is by hitting the center switch. It allows you to toggle between the two or turn both on or off. No tap dancing to turn one off and the other on, or vice versa. Very cool in the way that it's laid out. It also gives you some really nice signal routing options. So if you are going to have both sides on at the same time, you can choose whether you want those in parallel, or if you want the right side to go into the left side or the left side to go into the right side. There's also additional clipping options, which are really cool. So in the up position for both sides, you would get asymmetrical. In the center, there's no clipping, and then down is LED clipping, and they sound really different. Usually you'll hit like a clipping switch and it's subtle. In this case, it's very apparent, and we'll get into it in the demo. So let's get right into what's on top of this thing. On the right side of the pedal, that's the more blues breaker side of the pedal, you have gain, volume, push, and tone. What I really like about this push control is, yeah, it does add some low mids and lows, but also as you turn it up, it gives you more gain, and we'll check that out in the demo, but pretty straight ahead otherwise. On the left side of the pedal, your more tube screamer side, you have gain, bass, treble, and volume. Now in a tube screamer style circuit, I'm not used to seeing anything but a tone control. In this case, it makes it way more dialable with a bass and treble control. If you turn the bass off, that's when you're really going to hear that typical kind of tube screamer mid hump. But as you start rolling the bass in, it really does start kind of becoming its own beast. And we'll definitely check that out. Otherwise, straight ahead controls there. As I mentioned before, both sides have clipping options. So you have three-way switches. Up is asymmetrical, center is no clipping, down is lead. We'll check that out in the demo. There's a three-way switch in the center of the pedal. That's the one I mentioned that allows you to choose what your signal path is going to be if you're going to have both sides on at once. So to the left is going to be the right side into the left side. If you throw it to the right, it's going to be the left side into the right side. If you leave it in the center, that's when you get parallel, and you can get some really interesting tones out of that. 3 foot switches across the bottom. They're all soft touch, which is cool. The right one turns on the right side. Left one turns on the left side. The center one allows you to toggle between the two or turn both sides on and off at the same time. You can run 9 to 18 volts with this. For demo purposes, I'm running it at 9 volts. Let's check this thing out. It is the Mojo Hand FX Rock City. All right, let's take this schooner for a spin. Here's the guitar straight into the thing that makes it louder. And here is the Rock City. Alrighty there. Did I? No, I didn't. I thought I might have clipped my input, but I did not. Thank the Lord. Okay, so usual noodling, what have you, went back and forth between the two sides, turned on both sides at once. Let's start on the right side, which is more of a, I guess, a blues breaker kind of circuit, and we'll just goof around with the controls and see what she sounds like. So just for reference again, the clean. Okay, so right now we're in asymmetrical clipping. That's what that switch is doing. So in the up position, gain all the way down. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to switch to LED clipping. And just for reference, asymmetrical, LED. So there's obviously a little bit of a level jump there. I'll turn that down. More mids, more open and dynamic. Less gain. I like it for a blues tone, and I would maybe lean into that LED setting, like I said, for more dynamics, but also if I was going to stack this into the other side, LED could be cool. And then in the center is no clipping. So you'd almost use it as like an always on box. Okay, I just moved it back to asymmetrical. Let's listen to this push control. It adds lows, but also gain. As you can tell, there's more push, there's more low end, or I should say mid lows at this point. More gain. Now we're hearing more actual lows with the gain. So it's kind of a cool control other than just having a typical like bass control. So that's what's going on with that. I'll leave it about right there. And let's check out the tone control. We'll just sweep it. I like it about right there for my taste. Back the push off just a little bit. As you run more of that to maybe get more gain, you can turn up the tone as well. And then as far as the volume control goes, that's it's capable of pushing the amp really hard, as you heard. It depends on what clipping position you're in, but it has plenty of range. Okay, so that's that side. Here's the easy thing to do is just hit the center button and it'll toggle to the other side. None of this, shut this off and turn that on stuff, which is cool. Okay, so the other side, we'll do the same thing with the gain. Now this is more of a like tube screamer adjacent type of circuit. Turn the volume up. Gain off, we're in asymmetrical clipping. So it's the same exact concept. Down is going to be LED. And then center, no clipping. So that's what's going on with the gain. Neither side is high gain. If you want high gain, that's when you're gonna combine both sides. Let's sweep the mid, or I should say the bass. Now, if you turn the bass all the way off, that's when you're gonna get more of a tube screamer vibe. Because all those mids come out, you start hearing that like mid bump. Right as you start turning the bass up, kind of turns into a new beast. And the bass obviously gets massive. You can get it out of control, but it's quite a bit of range. A little bit will do. So that's what's going on with the bass. Here's the treble. And then same thing with the volume control, set it accordingly. You can push the amp a little bit harder, especially in no clipping, or you can go slightly above or unity. So that's what's going on with the two channels. Now, if you want to combine the two channels, there's different signal routing. Like right now, I have that signal routing switch in the center, which means these two channels are now in parallel. Boy, play a little bit more sloppy. So that makes for all kinds of unique combinations, especially if you start throwing switches. So that's really cool. I'm going to move it to the position that I like the most, which is right side into the left side. So if you put the switch to the right, there's going to be a lot more gain. And in this case, I might turn volumes down. I might pick a side, probably this side, turn the gain down a little bit. And this is what you get. And you can obviously tweak accordingly. You get quite a bit more gain, and it really kind of turns this into like your own custom box, especially if you just want to be able to turn both sides on or off with a custom dialed tone. It's a really cool option. So now what I'm going to do is just throw the switch the other way. Quite a bit more top end, a little bit less gain. It's definitely tighter when you run that direction. So now we're going from the left side into the right side. So that's what's going on there. I mean, I just kind of quickly dialed for each direction. I would say when you're running this side into this side, it's tighter. It's going to be better for rhythm tones. If you need more clarity, if you want fatter, more saturated tones, then go this into this. And then, of course, if you want just truly unique, especially like rhythm tones or maybe semi-broken tones, that parallel setting is really cool. And then just being able to turn it on and off that way, or that approach, is really, really cool. So that is the Mojo Hand FX Rock City. If you've got any other questions about it, always go to the website and check things out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you on the next one.